In What's in a BGA brings you Irish Gauge, a train auction game. Now, before you click off, I want you to notice something really important. The weight is only at 2.36. I know there's a lot of train games when it comes to auctioning and stocks where the weight's super high and really thinky, and this one definitely much more approachable. I mean, heck, the rules is one single page front and back. So it's very doable for most BGA players for sure. 3 to 5 players, voted best with 4. I'm currently rated at 7.2. First, the only thing you need to understand with the setup is there are 30 of these cubes here. And you see they're going to be placed on several of the cities. That is always the same. Just what cube happens to be put out is, of course, going to be different. The starting place for each railroad company will also be the same. But again, the cubes are what is random with this. So to start, we're going to do initial bids. We're going to be bidding for each of these companies' stocks. On the stocks, you can see there the big number that is bolded. That's the minimum price that you have to bid. But of course, that goes up and up and up. In the initial bid, you're going to be bidding once you pass your out, and then whoever bids the highest gets it. It is possible that if everybody passes, whoever started that bid would then get that stock. So make sure the last player doesn't get the free stock. So here we start at 7, and then it's normal just bidding. You can bid increase by 1 or go up to a certain number. And then once everybody passes, and like I said there, my opponent, he paid $8 for that stock there, and then it moves on to the next one. And now since he won the last stock, he will initiate this bid. And then we go through all 5 of the stocks. So once one stock from each company has been sold, we move on to gameplay. The game will continue until the bag is empty. Now, we can't see the bag, but the bag is made up of these 3 sets of cubes here. So currently there are 22 cubes in the bag, 8 black, 6 pink, and 8 white. When this bag runs empty, the game will be over, and then whoever has the most money plus the stock price, that's the biggest number, that's the bold number there, wins the game. During your turn, you're going to do one of the 4 actions here. The first is going to be placing locomotives. First, you're going to choose which company you want to build for. I have 2 here currently, but you pick a color first. You then are going to place it on the board. It needs to start from an area you already control. So here, the blue train company is only in Dublin, so I need to continue from there. And then you're going to be placing it on the board. Now there's a handy sheet here to tell you what everything costs. If you go to an easy space, which is this all green space here, it costs 1 of your 3 build points. If you go to a more difficult spot, it costs you 2. And then if you go to any of the towns, cities, or major cities, it costs you 1. So quickly, the 3 cities. First, the major city, that's the easiest. There's 3 of them with this red outline. A town is the ones without a cube, and then a city are the ones with the cube. Now, if you go to a space that is already occupied, notice that it'll cost you additional build cost. The biggest thing to remember is difficult ones, the one with the green. You cannot have 2 trains on that same area. It's not possible. And then the other 2 cost you 1.5 points. So it's really beneficial to you to lay track first because you can lay down 3 tracks in one turn, whereas if somebody's already there, you're only going to be able to move 2 if these are all easy or town spaces. So you can see I spent my 3 points, 1 point, 2 point, 3 point. These were all one single point because nobody's taken them. Now, one thing here, when building tracks, if you are able to collect all 3 of the major towns with one single company, you get 12 pounds divided by the stockholders. So you see the 3 towns. Basically, if one player owns all of them, they'll get all 12 pounds. Or if 2 players each own 1 stock, they obviously split the 12 in half and so on. Another option you can do during your turn is to place a special interest. When you do the place special interest, you're actually going to look inside the bag, or in this case, you're just going to look here. You're going to choose one of these cubes. You're going to add it to a town where you have a train system, aka the train goes through that town, and you own a stock in it. So here I could place in this town, but since blue is not connected up here, I could not add a cube in this town. And I could add one in New Ross as well. So here my opponent draws a black cube, and then you see it places it there on Shannon. And Shannon upgraded from a town to a city with this black cube. The third option you can do is call for an auction. Now, for this auction, you have to have the money listed on the card that you're calling for. So here, to start the yellow auction, you have to have the 12 pounds. But then it's going to follow just like before. You keep bidding, You can increase your bid as much as you want, and once everybody passes, whoever bids the highest will win this stock. Do notice that stocks obviously get more expensive. That bold number goes up, up, and up. The last action, calling for dividends, is how you're going to get your money. You're going to draw the 3 cubes like that was done there. Now, unlike the previous action where you got to pick the cubes, this one is done at random. So whoever does this action will draw 3 cubes from random. Then you're going to resolve each of these companies from left to right here and gain money. Now we're going to look at the dividends for the blue company first. For a railroad to get paid, the railway has to have a paying city. A paying city is one of the cubes that match a city they have. So this purple cube does not pay, but this black cube does. So this is a paying city. This is not. That paying city must be connected to a town. So this one here is connected down to New Ross. So that is possible. That is a paying city connected to a town. Or like the yellow here, they have a paying city connected to another paying city. So this would also satisfy it. So paying city to city or a paying city to a town will activate the railroad. So now blue is going to pay out. We are going to be following this down here. Paying cities pay 4, and then towns pay 2. So for blue, we're going to score $2 here. Nothing for this one. $4 here, and then 2 for here. So the blue company, 2, 4, so it's $6, $7, $8. And as you see here, 4, 2, and 2. And then I am the sole share owner for the blue company. So therefore, I got all $8. Now, if we had multiple blue shares out, they would take that money, split it in half. I think you round up, and BGA does a good job doing all that math for you, and then it'll give you your money. There's a track down here. If we were playing in person, that would help you with that, but we don't need to worry about that. Once all the cubes are gone, the game is over. Remember, you draw cubes when you call dividends, and also players can put the cubes down on towns to turn them into cities that also can get rid of cubes. At any time, either of those actions, when the cubes run out, you finish your action, and then the game is over. So whoever has the most cash or money wins. Remember, you also add that big number on each of the stock you own. Then you add those two together, and whoever has the most wins. I think Irish Gauge is a 7 for me. It is definitely more approachable than many of the heavier train games. It is kind of a step up, of course, from Ticket to Ride, because it is a little bit more complex than that. I have played years ago Railroad Tycoon. I think it's called something else now since they lost that license, but it was an easier stock game for sure, and this kind of reminds me a little bit of that. There are definitely times that you need to watch the money total and be like, okay, I'm the only one with $13. I should probably buy this orange stock because nobody can contest it. So there are some times like that where, okay, it's very obvious, like my game here, this player here, when he bought his yellow stock, I was thinking in my head, come on, dude, you're the only one with $12. You should be buying that stock. He was totally increasing the value of the yellow company by adding more and more trains down, and it made perfect sense for him to call an auction and then take it, and that's exactly what he did. So do be aware of that. That's kind of good and bad sometimes. It's just, okay, I have enough money, I take it. That's just how auction games work. So you do need to watch that. But this is definitely a game I'm going to explore a bit more. I have always wanted to play some of the heavier train games, but just the time it takes to play some of those games is quite a bit. So this one's kind of a cool, lighter feel on it for sure. Well, I've been the Digital Board Gamer. As always, good luck and have fun.